Okay, so I wasn't happy with that the way that one was connecting, so I'm going to try something a little bit different. All right, I'm going to try and redo that. I think that edge, unless I drag it way down like this, is too close to planar. So I've got to actually keep it like fairly low like that. Okay. The other thing that I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to trim this a little bit so that the differential between the roof edge and the floor edge is more pronounced. So right now, if you look at it, they're kind of close, right? See that? The line of this edge and the line of this are kind of almost in the same plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that a little bit. And it's a little bit tricky doing this after the fact, but it's not impossible. Goes. I might have to turn it around a few times until you find how to get the knife in there. And what I'm doing is I'm actually making that angle more acute. All right, and so there it is. Now, when you look at the roof edge compared to the line of the floor, you can definitely see a differentiation in angle, right? Okay, so we'll try that again, see what we get this time. All right, so once again, I'm gonna try to line up on the edge of the board. That. This time, I'm going to cut the triangle long. So instead of marking the exact point, I'm going to mark a point a little bit further out from it. All right, and then after I do that, I'll be able to kind of figure out where it sits on here better. Okay, so here goes. Okay, so there's that edge right there. I'm going to put it back in there because I know how I lined this up to it. So this connects up like that. All right, so I should be able to get that to come over. And since I cut it, notice how I cut it really long, right? Now I can trim it up to the shape that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and put tape on this once again. All right, so let's see how that goes on there, like that. Now it comes over and attaches. So all right, I'm going to take this and put it on here like this. Okay, and I'll fold it over until it gets to that point. Now I can mark it. See how I can mark it a little easier? Put a little mark right here. Okay, then I'm going to cut that. I'm putting some of you to sleep. Are you guys not sleeping?
No.
Very nervous.
Nervous? About what? Life. Nervous about life. Okay, so there is that, and that one meets pretty darn near close to perfectly. Okay? You look tired too.
I didn't sleep last night.
You working on the project for class?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay, so with the tape in place, I'm going to add some glue to this edge. And afterwards, I should be able to pull the tape off. Do not glue long portions of the edge, because what will happen is the glue will get sucked into the corrugations. You just want to do like little areas and try to stay away from the tape. Okay, so there is my first edge. Put in there. Now, the next task is to do the next piece that folds over from it. Now, that brings up an interesting sort of topic of discussion that I want to bring to your attention. So let me just cut a piece of board here. So it's a four-sided figure. And I'm going to kind of crease it right here. Okay, so does anybody know what a valley is?
Yes.
Yeah?
A valley?
Yeah. Is a valley an innie or an outie?
Innie.
It's an innie, right? How about a ridge? Do you know what a ridge is on a mountain?
It's an outie.
A ridge is the opposite. It's an outie. Usually where there's a valley, right, there are ridges next to it. Okay, this is a ridge. Okay, so the ridge has the two angles sloping away from it. That is a valley. The two angles are sloping down towards the line. Okay? When you do these things, you want to end up with a ridge, not a valley. Valleys are much harder to deal with because you're going to have to cut the piece and hold it in there and cut the piece and hold it in there. You will not be able to just lay it on here like this, right, and tilt it over and mark the point. Okay? So you've got to give some thought to how do I make this into a ridge and not a valley. I already did that by looking at it. If I'd have connected from this corner to this corner, I'd have a valley situation. But since I connected from this corner to that corner, I end up with a ridge on the outside. Okay, which makes it very easy to do the next step. On the next step, I'll just mark that right there.
Are you going to mark it further as well?
A little bit. All right, so there's my marks. Again, I went a little bit long. And again, I keep this as a reference so that I can look at it, right? And then this goes like that, and it goes this way. All right, so now I start to look and see how it's going to fit in there. So that one goes there, that goes there, and I'm able to mark a new point right here. Sometimes it helps if you actually just waste the tape, because it kind of relieves one of your hands from having to do anything. Hey, Hero. All right, so that kind of relieves my hand to where I can free the hand up. And I can mark it. Okay, and there's my mark. I'll trim that up. How many minutes? Huh?
11.
11? Okay. Worked out pretty good. All right, so that allows me now to kind of glue up the corner. This is not going to be exactly completely perfect, all right, because you're just modeling by hand. If you did it in the computer and unfolded, it might be closer to perfect, but it's very hard to visualize these kinds of forms in the computer. Okay, so there you have finalized end. Okay, what I'd like you guys to do is work on the two ends of this form. First, make sure that your furthest height is 3 inches and that your lowest height is 1 inch. Right? So trim it down. Then after that, then do the two ends. While you guys are working on these ends, I'm going to be walking around looking at your projects. Okay? Any questions?
Great.